Hello. Today I want to show how the CRT, the Cyber Resilience Tracker, helps consulting firms deliver compliance services faster in more repeatable way. This demo is not only about how the CRT helps the end client, it is about how a consulting firm can use the CRT as a delivery engine behind compliance as a service or managed compliance. The idea is simple. First, define what the client already has. Second, compare any requirements against that baseline. Third, identify what is covered, what is missing, and what needs work. And fourth, manage the client's compliance program over time. The service, as indicated, has 4 steps. Step 1, define the client's existing program. You can start from a known framework, or you can start using RAI to identify controls from the client's documentation. This is important. The quality of the baselines depends on the quality of the documentations. If a client has a mature program and good documents, CRT can create a strong starting point very quickly. Step 2, compare a new requirements. Their requirements may be CMMC, ISO 27001, SOC 2, HIPAA, a customer request, a contractual obligation, or an internal goal. Step 3, establish the comparison view. That is where the consulting team see what is already covered, what is partly covered, and what is missing. And step 4, of course, remediate, update, and mature the program with the client. This is where the works becomes an ongoing service. The consulting team can manage evidence, document, finding, maturity work, and readiness over time. The point is simple. The consulting firm does not restart every engagement from a blank spreadsheet. It builds one reusable control foundation for the client and evolves it over time. The first value point is speed. In most consulting engagement, the first major effort is discovery. What policy does the client have? What procedures exceeds? What evidence is available? Which safeguards are documented? Which controls appears to be in place? That discovery process matters, but it is often manual, slow, and hard to standardize across clients. With CRT, the consulting team can use the client's documentations to create an initial living control set baseline. Based on our current experience, that initial baseline takes about 2.5 hours on average. That depends on the quality and completeness of the client's documentation. This does not replace the consultant. It gives the consultant a faster starting point. The team can validate it, refine it, and use it as the foundation for the engagement. Now, let's move into the CRT. Here is the CRT. The CRT has a lot of different areas. They are all dedicated areas to work in. But today we're looking into the living control set, which connects all the dots in all those moving parts. The living control set dashboard is actually where we're looking at that client baseline that we created. This is a client that we have engaged with in multiple engagements. We've created their first baseline. We worked with them on a remediation, and currently we're working on a new engagement that is CMMC. But here is what happens. All of a sudden, the client comes with a new requirements. In a press of a button, we have the capability to basically create what we call conformity engagement, a conformity or a comparison to a new requirements. Now, let's say now they want to evaluate how they're meeting, I don't know, GLBA. GLBA because they're working in Europe. In a press of a button, I can take everything that they do and identify exactly what is the delta. What is the one missing element, as we can see, of everything that they're doing today that they will need to add in order to achieve the full requirements of the GLBA? We're not only seeing that, but we see all of those micro elements. Now, we are able to see what do they already have. So they have all this compliance, they have all this controls and all this compliance obligation. And this is the things that interacts with each other, that not maybe perfect fit to each other, but they're not starting from zero. No relationship at all. Hey, in this framework, we actually have two elements that our controls are not mapping. We still need to address those. Or subset of. That means that our control is actually covering way more area than what is requested in this framework. So they're not starting from baseline. Now, in this particular case, we don't have equal, but in a lot of frameworks, you can also see equal, exactly one-to-one based on the requirements and our controls, what exactly the delta. So you have a very perfect view into what the delta looks like. Now, going back into that engagement, what does that mean? The second major value point is that the client baseline becomes reusable. When the new requirements appear, the consulting team is not rebuilding the analysis from the beginning. CRT compares the new requirements to the existing baseline. That gives the team faster way to understand the work ahead. If something already covered, the team can reuse the existing control documentations and evidence. If something is partially covered, the team can see where the clients need stronger implementation, better evidence, or higher maturity. If something is completely missing, the team can see which controls or tasks needs to be added. This is where the platform outputs becomes consulting value. The team can turn the delta into scoped remediation, advisory work, and ongoing service opportunity. The third value point is the continuous compliance. The opportunity for a consulting firm is not only to help the client complete one assessment. The larger opportunity is to help the client stay ready over time. That means managing evidence over time, managing documentation over time, tracking finding, managing maturity work, and keeping the clients aligned as requirements change. The practical value is simple. Ask once, reuse everywhere. Inside the CRT, evidence, documentations, assessments, risk, and maturity work are connected through the control foundation, the living control set. So when something changes, the related area can stay connected. If evidence is updated, that evidence can support the controls and requirements tied to it. If a document change, that change can be reflected in the related compliance work. If a control matures, the consulting team can show how the client's posture improves over time. This supports the managed service motion. The firm can stay engaged after the first assessment and help the clients maintain readiness continuously. For a consulting firm, the business value is clear. CRT helps accelerate discovery and onboarding. It helps standardize delivery across client. It reduces repeated mapping work when new requirements appears, and it supports ongoing compliance services. Finally, it improves visibility into controls, evidence, risk, documentations, and maturity work. More importantly, CRT helps turn compliance consulting into a repeatable, ongoing service. The platform does not replace the consultant. It gives the consulting team a stronger delivery engine. That means less time rebuilding the same analysis and more time advising the clients on what to do next. To summarize, CRT supports the consultant service flow in 4 stages. Define the client existing program, compare the new requirement to the existing program, establish the comparison baseline, then remediate, update, mature the client program over time. That is how a consulting firm can move from individual compliance projects to a more scalable compliance as a service offering. The recommended next step is to turn one sample client scenario end to end. That means document intake, living control set baseline, comparison analysis, delta review, and ongoing evidence and document management. That will show how CRT can support your firm delivery approach, client experience, and ongoing service opportunity. This is why we are the designated tool for both CMMC and the Secure Controls Framework. Thank you.